Hello everybody, I'm Antonia and this is Noel and we are from Boxtail Soup Theatre Company and this is not another Box Tail Scoop. This is in fact 6 months later another Gullivlog.
Very disappointed that you don't have some kind of... I thought you were going to surprise me with a physical dance interpretation.
No, I'm really sorry. I thought about it but I couldn't think of anything good.
If you've been watching these videos and you've been enjoying them, please do consider giving us a thumbs up, a like, or leave us a comment, or possibly even subscribe. That would be great.
So we are hoping very much that you enjoyed the last couple of vlogs about A Christmas Carol, where we showed you the comparison between the first week of, well, the very initial R&D week of rehearsals and the actual show that we did in December. We're going to draw a line underneath that wonderful show for now until this Christmas, I think. But we are going to move back. We decided that we were going to go back to Gulliver for various reasons so that we could move on to the next phase of that show.
And we had a long conversation about what was the most sensible thing to do now. Obviously, same as everybody else, you know, we're kind of planning as we go along because nobody knows how long the lockdown is going to last. Nobody knows when we'll be able to get back out with work again. No. So we're kind of planning as we go, and we had a discussion about things and came to the conclusion that this was the most sensible thing to use this time.
We're doing it alongside some other projects that we're also getting along with, which we'll talk about another time. Yeah. But yeah, so moving on to research and development. Well, what we're going to do now is working towards a research and development week.
So the videos that you may have watched on Christmas Carol, the last two we put up, gave some examples between showing the kind of a rehearsal footage and comparing that to the finished show. The rehearsal footage that we ended up with there was the result of the kind of first week of R&D, research and development, or rehearsals, the first week in the rehearsal studio really. And what we came up with at the end of that first week was a very rough outline of the whole show. So that's the kind of thing that we're aiming for. What we're looking to do is get Gulliver's Travels into the same sort of state where we've got perhaps not a rough version of the whole show, but a kind of sketch of most of the main elements of it.
Yeah, that we've kind of worked out the language for the show and that kind of thing.
Yeah. So we've got a very strong starting point basically to build the rest of it on. And we're then hoping to share that rough version with a few professionals, producers or directors or friends of the company who can give us a bit of feedback and let us know what they think, and maybe we'll even share a few bits and pieces with you guys as well.
Yeah, so originally last year when we were working on Gulliver, the idea was if we hadn't had to put it in a box at the time that we did, the idea would have been to work towards that research and development week then, at the end of which there would have been a live, what you call a scratch performance, where you might show some slightly more polished moments from the show that are giving you a sense of what it will be like when it's finally finished. So we're just putting those, as you say, onto film instead because of the situation.
The idea in the beginning was we were given some funding by the Arts Council very kindly, and that was to help us develop the show to this stage, to make a few connections with other theatres so that we could share this scratch performance, and also to work a little bit more on the sustainability side of things, and the fact that we make so much stuff out of recycled materials and things like that, really to develop that more.
Yeah, to kind of carry that through also into tour booking and all that sort of stuff.
Of course, with the situation that hit everybody last March, we were then unable to do that, so we had to stop work on that and kind of put it onto ice. So after the last discussions that we've had, we've now decided that what we'll be able to do is to present a sort of, like we say, an online version of it, and that hopefully will be an alternative way of doing what we initially set out to do.
So we got everything out of the box that we put it in yesterday to have a look at what we've got. Some of it you can see on the table here. And we had a look at it all to try and remind ourselves really of what we'd made and what we were thinking, how we were going to progress with it all. And we also looked at the script, we read it through again to see where we'd got to with that. And we've come up with a few ideas now that we want to have achieved before we get to that research and development week, which is going to be around Easter time. So we've decided, for example, that our little Lilliputians here, we want to have a go also at making some slightly oversized for their bodies, at least, heads that potentially might have moving mouths, because when we looked back at the script, there's a couple of Lilliputian characters who do actually have quite a lot to say. And thinking of distance in venues, that it might just be more useful to have a slightly larger head for some of them. So we're going to have an experiment with that. We've had a couple of different ideas for the horse, the Huhn.
Yeah, you may remember the big horse's head that we made. It was all
papier-mâché and sort of fully three-dimensional and everything. And we've had a couple of more abstract ideas, I think, for that particular puppet, which we definitely want to explore. And we always notice this anyway, but particularly with this one, because it's the first time we've ever had to actually pause mid-make, that we've learned loads in the interim from making A Christmas Carol. And now there is a lot that frustrates us in a way about what we've originally made, but also that we just now want to bring certain other elements, and we've sort of things that we've learned, like when we made the Ghost of Christmas Future for A Christmas Carol. There was a particular way we hung the fabric off a frame that we're now thinking might be interesting for the horse. Maybe we can make a kind of frame that we hang fabric off. We've also just had more ideas really about the general aesthetic of the piece, how we really like this sort of idea of a shipwreck potentially. So we want to get that kind of the wood, the rope, the canvas of the sails, the parchment. We want to get that sort of
those materials, kind of it coming through other things.
So we've had a few new ideas really that we now want to explore.
It's funny being able to do it like that. Usually when you come back to a previous show, to an old show, you often have those feelings where you think, oh, if we did this now, we would do this differently. Not that, we're very proud of the work that we've done in the past, and it's nice to go back and revisit some of those shows, but nevertheless, sometimes you'll find something I wouldn't make this way anymore, or I can think of a better way of doing this particular little technique now. In this case, it's slightly strange and quite pleasant to actually be able to do that, to have started so much work on this show, then gone away and done something completely different for 6 months, and done a bunch of work on another show using a few new techniques. So then to come back to this and have fresh ideas and fresh eyes in terms of looking at how we're going to solve the various challenges that are presented by all these different lands in Gulliver's Travels.
So we're going to be doing a mixture really of making various prototypes, so that, for example, we decided it would be really useful for that week to have a couple of different options for the Lilliputians, so that we can play with how they look from certain distances. We can get feedback from venues who might book the show about that kind of thing. And we also decided it'd be nice to have a couple of different ideas for the Huhn puppet, and we'll probably make a few prototype parts of set as well for certain particular moments of the show.
For sure.
And also go back to the script, and we have had a couple of ideas about how we want to tweak some of the dialogue actually, it's more to do with the narrative passages.
Yeah, a little bit of rewriting maybe.
Yeah, so that'll be all really fun, and we're looking forward to going back to the wonderful music. We'll play a little bit of that again at the end of this vlog, and letting that inspire us for various moments of the show. So it's exciting, and we're looking forward to it, and it's nice to bring it back to life again. We don't know after that R&D week what will happen this year with the show. We've no idea yet. We may be going to take it out to places depending on whether things open up. But if not, we'll have got it to a really good place, and we'll have documented it well, so we can then return to it at any point that we need to. So that's, I think, all we've really got to tell you.
Yes, quite straightforward. Nothing much to show this week, I'm afraid, but we will get back to making some stuff gradually as we go along.
Yes, so we should have something different next week, maybe.
In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. Like I said before, do give us a thumbs up, leave us a comment, or maybe even subscribe. That'd be great. Thanks.